You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
GOP Senator blindsides McConnell with claim as proof of life might be an old photo based on an article by Daniel Hampton. Power, not concern. The photo was a cover story. Mitch McConnell's hospital bed image was not the point. The point was that his office waited until Sunday to release any real update after he had already been hospitalized since June 14, and that the GOP's most recognizable figures treated the resulting vacuum as an opening for theatrics, not accountability. The article's facts are straightforward. McConnell had a fall, was briefly unconscious, had pneumonia, and his office said he did not suffer a heart attack or stroke. Everything after that is a political reaction to institutional silence. Who actually holds the levers? The people with real power in this story are not the online commentators sniffing at a photograph. They are the office holders shaping the conditions around the story. McConnell's staff controlling disclosure, Trump setting the tone for Republican humiliation politics, and centers like Ron Johnson choosing to launder suspicion into public conversation. Johnson did not accidentally wonder aloud. He went on television and injected doubt about a fellow Republican's condition after hearing a supposedly secondhand claim that the image was old. That is what influence looks like in a degraded political culture, not governance, but the authority to destabilize reality for ratings and factional advantage. Misdirection as routine. The article shows a familiar trick. When a powerful institution withholds information, the reaction is not honest pressure for transparency. Instead, weaker actors are encouraged to fight over symbols, timestamps, and pixel trivia while the actual decision makers remain protected. Laura Loomer declaring the image BS, Megyn Kelly calling it a little off, and Johnson citing an unnamed source all turn uncertainty into performance. That does not clarify anything. It relocates suspicion away from the people who control the rollout and onto the image itself. The problem is not that viewers are too naive. The problem is that Republican politics has trained its ecosystem to treat deception as a form of participation. Trump sets the tone. Trump's contribution was classic, not solidarity, not restraint, but the open contempt of a man who says he was never a huge fan and then shrugs that he does not know whether McConnell is fine. That is not merely rude. It is a signal to the party that vulnerability is fair game and loyalty is conditional on usefulness. Once the former president models that posture, the rest of the ecosystem follows. Johnson's skepticism, Loomer's conspiracy mongering, and the surrounding chatter are not independent judgments. They are downstream behavior in a party culture where degradation is treated as political candor. A majority too rotten to hold. The source also notes the broader structural fact this came after the weekend death of a Republican senator further narrowed the GOP Senate majority. That matters because it exposes the real anxiety under the sniping. The party is not unified around governance. It is a real power block stressed by age, illness, loss, and narrow margins. When a majority is held together by frailty and performance, every hospitalization becomes a political event. So the photograph was never just about McConnell's health. It was about a party that cannot speak honestly about power, cannot manage succession cleanly, and cannot resist turning human vulnerability into a factional weapon. The larger pattern. This is what institutional decay looks like when it becomes normal secrecy from the office, suspicion from the base, opportunism from the ambitious, and contempt from the leader at the top. The public is left to parse whether a hospital photo is recent while the actual governing class refuses basic transparency and uses ambiguity as fuel. The deeper scandal is not that Republicans doubted the image. It is that this kind of cynical unraveling now passes for political communication. A healthy democratic system does not make citizens guess whether its leaders are alive, honest, or fit to govern. A broken one does. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Roar Story for today's article. With the automated voice of Norman, thanks for listening.